So I sat down, and God's a good father, and he talks to his children when we ask him questions. So I said, tell me something about your love. And the first thing he said, and I sat down, I heard it so quickly and so clearly that I thought maybe I made it up. And he said, my love abounds. And I thought, well, that's pretty simple. I'm sure that was me. And so I asked again, and he said, my love abounds. So I looked up the word abounds, and I thought, we dull down our words, and we take words that are meant to describe God, and we make them unextraordinary. We make them empty and simple. And I looked up the word, and this is what abounds means. To exist in large numbers, to be rich with, to be alive with, plentiful, abundant, thick with, full of, overflowing with, teeming with, to be packed with, crowded with, thronged with, overrun with, and well supplied. That's not simple. So I waited a couple of days, and I sat down again, and I said, God, tell me something about your love. Again, the answer came really quickly, and this time he said, not too far. This time he said, my love endures. And I thought, I know what that word means. It's all through the Bible. I got this one, but I decided I'd look it up anyway. And the first one really got me. Endures. To suffer something painful or difficult patiently. To last. To live, to survive, to abide, to continue, to persist, to persevere, to remain, to stay long-lasting, durable, eternal, permanent, unending, everlasting, constant, stable, steadfast, fixed, firm, unwavering, unfailing, unchanging. Wow. I didn't know what that word meant at all. A few days later, I sat down again, and I asked, and quickly came the answer, my love declares. And I immediately looked up declares because I caught on by now. Declares, proclaims, announces, states, reveals, articulates, publicizes, broadcasts, says emphatically, to make known, to state clearly, to announce officially, to manifest, to show, to affirm. And as I read those words, he said that his love declares over us our identity. Mm-hmm. And then finally I sat down one last time, and I said, tell me something about your love. And God said, my love disciplines. And I said, ooh. That one doesn't sound so nice. But when I looked it up, it doesn't mean exactly what I thought it meant. Disciplines means trains, teaches, instructs, coaches, teaches to obey a code of behavior, corrects disobedience. Training that corrects or molds and perfects moral character. And I thought, oh my goodness. We think of discipline and it feels bad. That's what the world has told us it is. But God's a good father, and he teaches us. And when I understood this word as love, I thought about how I teach my children in that loving way. And so the story I'm going to tell you has to do with loving discipline. But the other thing that I noticed was all four of those things are active verbs. He says, my love is an active verb. It abounds, it endures, it disciplines. They're active verbs. And so I think he said a lot in just those four little sentences. And so the story I'm sharing with you because I think it'll make it easier to see how what teaching and disciplining is love. So I was really sick, and I had a sinus infection, and for some reason it was affecting my eyes. And I went to bed, and they were really itchy and bothering me, and I woke up in the morning, and I must have just rubbed and rubbed with the palms of my hands, like so hard that my eyes felt like I had pushed them into the back of my head when I woke up, and I was just, they were itching, and I went in the bathroom, and I looked in the mirror, and my face was hideous. I mean, this side of my face had this big, long, puffy wrinkle that came all the way down to here, and this side was normal. And I think it would have been less weird or less ugly had it been both, you know, but one side, so this side I looked like I was 80, this side looked normal, and I was like, okay, so I used makeup and eye drops and everything. I did what I could to go to work, and I worked for a family, so it wasn't that bad. They left me. So I get to work, and my boss kind of looks at me, and I was like, I know, hideous. And, the little kids didn't run away, so that was good. So my boss goes off to her job, and I watch two little kids, and I realized the older of the two was at daycare, and I realized all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I've got to get in the car. I've got to drive to daycare. I've got to see the teachers. I've got to see the moms. And all of a sudden, I cared what I looked like. And I had this fleeting thought that I was going to call Jackson up, and it was real close to my house, and I was going to stop by. And by now, all my makeup has also melted off because my eyes were real runny, so it was complete splendor of this big weird thing. And I'm going to drive to the house, have Jackson run out my makeup bag, and then I'm going to go. And I stopped, and I was like, oh my gosh, I care what I look like. I didn't think I cared what I looked like. So, God so nicely pointed that out to me. And then I had a thought, and Jen Smith, I called her because we went to Africa together, and in Africa we didn't have any mirrors. We were each other's mirror. If you had a weird thing on your face or you had something, your hair was messed up, we would tell each other. I told her what was going on. I said, be my mirror. And she texted back all these things about who I am on the inside that were beautiful. And I said, I'm not going to look in the mirror the rest of the day. I went to daycare. I picked up the kids. People looked in horror. But I didn't look in the mirror the rest of the day. And I looked at the words that she sent me as my mirror. And so in the morning I woke up and it was gone. And God clearly showed me. Sometimes I tend to learn better when he makes me feel things. So he really made me feel that, okay, it's the inside that matters, not the outside. So the second half of the week, I'm still sick, and he's just to bring it home. He's going to show me from another way. So I live in a condo, and I'm on the second floor, and my neighbor tells me that there's a leak. So we figure out where the leak is to make the story shorter, and basically all the plumbing in the place comes to one big pipe that goes down. So I call the condo association because it's a concealed pipe, so they have to send out their person and send on an expert on the building and a master plumber. They come out and they cut holes in my wall. They remove my toilet. Now this is a bathroom that for community group, like I fixed it up, I put a floor and made everything pretty on the outside. And so they're undoing my toilet and they're shoving themselves in between spaces where they don't fit, and they're cutting things, and I hear saws going and pipes, and I'm just sitting in the living room with my Bible open, and I'm clenching up every time I hear it. And I'm like, no, God, you got this. And I'm clenching up again. And one guy keeps coming out and showing me pictures of what's inside the wall. So first he shows me where I had plunged my kitchen sink. I blew out a hole in this spot that was supposed to be metal. And what had happened is so much stuff over the years had come apart inside of the pipe that it clogged it up all except for this one little place. But it made everything around it weak. And so with this one plunge, it was like paper, and it just went. So there was just this little trickle of water getting through, and then I did that, and it blew it out. They showed me where it was all clogged up, and then they went in, and they took tools, and they got everything out. They even found a ring in one of the pipes. It used to be a really beautiful ring. I know whose ring it was. It was my grandmom's. Didn't know it was in there. But the ring, even this beautiful ring, was like all corroded and covered with stuff, but it became part of the problem. And I think God was saying, like, even the beautiful thing, even the thing that you wear, and it's really, like, if that gets in the dark and it gets stopped up with all this other stuff around, even that, you can't even use that anymore. The guy keeps coming back and forth with all of these things, and finally they replace all the pipes with something that his quote was, I'm replacing the pipes with something that will last forever. I was like, okay. So they finally get all done. They leave. My bathroom's a mess. There's the insulation that they blew in the walls is all over the place. And I'm slowly trying to put everything back. And I sat down to process it, and God said, okay. So that was beautiful. You made it look really pretty, but on the inside, it was a mess. It was leaking, it was broken, and it wasn't working right. There were things clogged in there. Nothing could pour through. And so I sent you master plumbers, and I sent you experts on the building where you live to go in and replace what was broken and messed up with something that will last forever. Now it's completely open, and now it can be poured through. And so he was showing me my heart, and it was really visceral because, like I said, every time they made a noise, I was clenching up. And he said, doesn't matter how pretty you look on the outside. If the inside is not functioning, I can't use it. Can't pour through it. And what I want to remind you is that God is a really good father, and even discipline is love. Even showing us and teaching us what's wrong that we're not even aware of. I had no idea that the pipes look like that. I've been living there 17 years. I had no idea my face could look like that. He was kind enough, loving enough to let me feel what was going on. And I will not forget those things. And I grew in those places as he showed me. So I wanted to encourage you with a story about how he loves us. And those are just a couple little words. And you could sit down and ask him every day for the rest of your life, and he can tell you some new way about how he loves you. And explore it. Let him make it big, because that's what it is. It's something we can't even contain. I also wanted to say how amazing it was that none of us really knew what songs or who was going to say what, but I loved how everybody has a different personality. God's made us all really unique, but he brought together pieces that really go together to explain a little bit more about who he is. So thanks for giving me the opportunity, and thanks for looking at this face. But it was really amazing how he did that, and this was all in a matter of 1 week, and I had no idea I had anything to share. So thanks for being here.
Oh, and clapping.